Wait, what did you just say? My voice cracked as I stared at Claire across the small cafe table. She looked down at her coffee instead of me. I said, I think we're better as friends. The words hit harder than a punch. My chest tightened, and my throat burned. Friends? For after everything we've been through? That's all I am to you now. It's not that simple, she whispered. Then make it simple, I snapped. Look at me, Claire. Just look at me and say you don't love me anymore. Her eyes flicked up, full of pity instead of love. I need space. I need freedom. I don't feel the same anymore. I leaned forward, desperate. I've given you everything. Every part of me. Don't tell me this is about space. Tell me the truth. Her hands trembled as she wrapped them around her cup. The truth is, I can't be with you the way I used to. I've changed. Voice broke, so I wasn't enough. That's not what I said. That's exactly what you said, I shot back. You're walking away like I'm disposable, like the last 3 years meant nothing. Claire's eyes watered. But her tones stayed cold. Please don't make this harder than it already is. It's harder for who? You? I laughed bitterly. You're the one leaving. I'm the one losing everything, she whispered. I'll always care about you, I slammed my fist against the table, making her jump. Don't say that. Don't pretend you care when you're tearing me apart. People around us stared, but I didn't care. My whole world was collapsing in front of me. Please, she begged. Let's not end it like this. Can we at least stay friends? Friends. My voice dripped with disgust. After kissing you, holding you, planning a future with you. You expect me to sit across from you like none of it mattered? Oh, Claire, that's not friendship. That's cruelty. Her lips quivered. She grabbed her purse and stood. I think I should go. Of course you should, I muttered. That's what you're good at. Leaving. She walked out without another word. Sat there shaking, my breath ragged. Hours later, Jason found me in my apartment. Empty bottles littered the table, and I hadn't moved from the couch. Jesus. Man, he said, tossing his jacket aside. You look like hell. Buried my face in my hands. She's gone. She ended it like I was nothing. Jason sat beside me. What exactly did she say? She said we're better as friends. My voice cracked on the last word. She wants space. Freedom. All that crap. Jason snorted. Translation. She's already got someone else. I looked up sharply. What? Come on, dude. Seen this before? Nobody just wakes up one day and decides they don't love you anymore. There's always someone waiting in the wings. My chest clenched. You think she's cheating? He leaned back, crossing his arms. I think she didn't tell you the full truth, and you're too blinded by love to see it. Tears burned my eyes again. I begged her, Jason. I begged her to look me in the eye and say she didn't love me. She couldn't do it. She just dodged. That's guilt, Jason said firmly. She knows she betrayed you, and she doesn't have the guts to admit it. I shook my head violently. No. Claire wouldn't do that. She's not like that. Jason gave me a look that made my stomach twist. Then why did she look you in the eye and say she doesn't feel the same? Why is she asking for space? Right now, people don't want space unless they're filling it with someone else. I pressed my palms against my temples, the room spinning. I can't believe this. I don't want to believe this. You don't have to believe it, Jason said quietly. But deep down, you already know. Silence stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. Finally, I whispered, if you're right, then I was nothing to her. Jason put a hand on my shoulder. No, man, you were everything. That's why this hurts so much. But she's the one who threw it away, not you. I clenched my jaw, fighting the tears that threatened again. So what am I supposed to do? Just forget her? Pretend like she didn't rip me apart? You survive, Jason said. You let her go. Let karma do the rest. I stared at the floor, my heart pounding. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe there was justice in this world. But all I felt was emptiness, and somewhere deep down a cold whisper told me Jason was right. Claire hadn't left me for freedom. She'd left me for someone else. The thought shattered me all over again. Jason's words echoed in my head all weekend. There's always someone else. I tried to ignore it, but Monday morning slapped me in the face with the truth. I walked into the office lobby. There she was. Claire. Her hand was locked with Ryan's. My coworker. My so-called friend. My stomach dropped. "You've got to be kidding me," I muttered under my breath. Ryan spotted me instantly. His smug grin spread across his face like he'd been waiting for this moment. "Morning, champ," he said, tightening his grip on Claire's hand. "Ryan," my voice trembled with fury. "The hell is this?" Claire flinched but didn't. "Let go of him. I didn't want you to find out this way." "This way?" I barked. "There's no good way to find out you dumped me for him," Ryan smirked. "Relax, man. Don't make a scene." I stepped closer, my fists curling. "You're sleeping with my girlfriend?" "Ex-girlfriend," Ryan corrected, leaning in like he enjoyed twisting the knife. "She made her choice." Claire's eyes darted away, her voice barely audible. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "Hurt me?" My laugh came out sharp, broken. "You destroyed me, Claire. And you?" I jabbed a finger at Ryan. "You were supposed to be my friend?" He shrugged. "What can I say?" "She saw something in me you couldn't give her." My blood boiled. What arrogance, a fake smile? That's what she chose? Claire's cheeks flushed, but Ryan pulled her closer, almost shielding her. "Face it, man, you weren't enough." Those words gutted me. My chest tightened, and for a second, I thought I might collapse right there in the lobby. People were staring, whispers circling around us, but all I could see was them hand in hand, united against me. I swallowed hard, forcing words out. "You could have told me, either of you. Instead, you let me beg, let me cry while you were already together." Claire's lips trembled. I was scared. Scared. My voice cracked, scared of honesty. "No, Claire, you were selfish. Both of you." Ryan smirked again. "Come on, man. Don't be pathetic. Move on, pathetic." The word rang in my ears as I turned away before I did something that would get me fired. Jason found me that night sitting on the floor of my apartment, staring at the wall. "You saw them, didn't you?" he asked softly. I nodded, my throat too tight to speak. Jason sighed, dropping onto the couch. "Who? Ryan?" I whispered finally. "She's with Ryan." His eyes widened. "Your coworker, Ryan?" I laughed bitterly. "Yeah, the guy who came to our game nights? The guy who pretended to be my friend?" Jason cursed under his breath. I knew it. I knew she had someone lined up. I rubbed my hands over my face. "He told me I wasn't enough." Right there, in front of everyone. Jason leaned forward. "That's not true. That's him projecting his insecurity." "Insecurity." I barked out a laugh. He had her hand in his. "He looked like he won. How is that insecure?" "Because guys like Ryan only feel powerful when they're tearing someone else down," Jason shot back. "You think he's happy? He's terrified. That's why he had to flaunt her in front of you." I shook my head. "Doesn't matter, I still lost." She picked him over me. Jason's tone hardened. "No, she picked betrayal over loyalty. That's not a win, man. That's desperation." The words rattled inside me, but the ache in my chest didn't fade. I whispered, "What's wrong with me, Jason? Why wasn't I enough?" Jason's jaw clenched. "Nothing's wrong with you. She was blind. And Ryan, he's a parasite. He latched onto what you built and stole it." "But she let him," I muttered. "She wanted him." Jason leaned closer, his eyes fierce. "She wanted a shortcut. She wanted someone who made her feel reckless. That doesn't mean she found better. It means she gave up something real for something shallow." I stared at the floor. My voice cracked. "Then why does it still feel like I'm the one who failed?" "Because you loved her," Jason said softly. "And love makes betrayal feel like your fault, even when it's not." Silence stretched between us. My chest ached like a wound that wouldn't stop bleeding. Finally, I whispered, "I don't know how to come back from this." Jason put a hand on my shoulder. "You don't have to tonight. You just have to survive it." I closed my eyes, his words circling in my head. Survive. That's all I could do. But as I lay awake later, the image of Claire's hand in Ryan's wouldn't leave me. His smirk, her silence, the sting of being told I wasn't enough fit looped endlessly, breaking me piece by piece. And deep inside, a dangerous thought whispered, maybe they were right. Maybe I wasn't enough. I stared at the glowing computer screen at work, the same line of numbers frozen in front of me for half an hour. My head was heavy, my chest hollow. "Man, you okay?" coworker asked as he passed. Yeah, I lied, shutting the file. But I wasn't okay. I hadn't been okay since I saw Claire holding Ryan's hand. That night I drowned myself in whiskey again. The room blurred, my phone buzzed, and her name lit up the screen. "Claire," I answered with a hoarse voice. "What do you want?" "Just wanted to check on you," she said softly. My grip tightened on the glass. "Check on me? After you humiliated me? After you paraded Ryan around like a trophy?" "I didn't parade him. Don't lie to me," I snapped. "You knew I'd see. You wanted me to see." She sighed. "I still care about you, you know." "Care?" I laughed bitterly. "You care enough to sleep with my coworker? You care enough to let me beg while you already moved on?" Her voice cracked. "I didn't mean for it to happen like this." "Then how did you mean for it to happen? You break me, then call me drunk at night to ease your guilt?" Silence. Then, softly, "I just don't want us to hate each other." My throat burned. "You made sure of that the moment you chose him." I hung up before she could answer. Days blurred into nights. Sleep never came. I'd stare at my reflection in the bathroom mirror at 3 a.m., bloodshot eyes, hollow cheeks. "What's wrong with you?" I whispered to myself. I weren't. "You enough." Jason showed up unannounced one Saturday, dragging Sophie with him. I opened the door in the same shirt I'd worn for 3 days. Jason wrinkled his nose. "Dude, you reek." I muttered, "Good to see you too." Sophie gave me a gentle smile. "Hey, can we come in?" I stepped aside, embarrassed by the empty bottles scattered across the living room. Jason frowned. "So this is what you've been doing? Drinking yourself into oblivion?" I sank onto the couch. "It's the only thing that shuts my brain off." "No," Jason said sharply. "Doesn't shut it off. It just buries it deeper. And look at you. You're wasting away while they get to live their perfect little lie." "Maybe that's what I deserve," I muttered. Jason's eyes widened. "You think you deserve betrayal?" I shrugged. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe Ryan was what she really wanted. Sophie spoke gently, sitting across from me. "You're not the problem. People who betray never do it because of the other person. They do it because of who they are." Words made my chest ache. And why does it? "Still feel like I failed?" "Because you loved her," Sophie said softly. "Love doesn't switch off just because someone hurt you. It lingers. But it doesn't mean you were less." Jason leaned forward. "Listen to her. You've got to stop feeding yourself this lie that you're worthless. Claire didn't leave because you weren't enough. She left because she's selfish. And Ryan? He's a coward hiding behind her choice." I rubbed my temples. "You make it sound so simple." Jason shook his head. "It's not simple, it's painful. But you've got 2 choices right now. Keep drowning in whiskey and self-pity, or start clawing your way back." My voice was barely a whisper. "And what if I can't?" Jason's tone softened. "Then we'll drag you until you can. But you can't stay like this, man. You're killing yourself over people who don't give a damn." Sophie reached out, her voice calm. "You deserve more than this shadow of yourself. You deserve peace." Their words pressed into me like weights I didn't want to carry. But beneath the fog, something stirred tiny, fragile, but real. I swallowed hard. "I don't know if I'm strong enough." Jason smirked faintly. Said, "Borrow my strength until you are." Sophie nodded. "And mine too." For the first time in weeks, I felt something other than despair. Small, flickering, but maybe just. Maybe it was hope. That night I sat alone after they left, staring at the empty bottles on the floor. Jason's voice echoed in my head. 2 choices, I whispered to myself. I can't keep living like this.
Ow.
For the first time, I believed it. I stared at my reflection in the mirror, fingers tracing the faint hollows under my eyes. Is this who I am now? I muttered. Not anymore, I whispered back. Forcing myself to stand taller, the gym smelled of sweat and determination. I hesitated at the entrance, clutching my membership card. A trainer noticed my nerves. First time, he asked. Yeah, I admitted. I figured I should stop sitting in my misery. That's the spirit. Start light. Consistency beats intensity. I nodded, gripping the dumbbells like they held the key to my sanity. That evening, Emily leaned over my desk. At work? You look different, she said, squinting at me. Different good or different bad, I asked. Different like live, she replied. What's going on? I laughed softly. I guess I decided to stop drowning. Her smile was warm. About time. You've got talent, you know. Don't waste it. I rolled my chair back. Talent? For what? Answering emails? For design. I've seen your sketches on lunch breaks. You have an eye? They're just doodles, I argued. They're not. Should show them in our next project. Pitch! I shook my head quickly. Ryan used to say design was a hobby for people who couldn't handle real work. Emily's brow furrowed. Why do you let his voice still live in your head? Kick him out already. Her words struck me harder than the weights at the gym that night. I opened my old journal, flipping through pages filled with bitterness and sorrow. I pressed my pen down, writing, Today I chose me. Today I lifted weights. Today I breathed. Today I lived. The following week I was back in the gym. Guy spotted me while I struggled with the bar. Push don't quit now. Gritted. My teeth forcing the bar up. My arms shook, but I managed. There you go, he said, clapping me on the back. Feels good, huh? It hurts, I gasped. That's the point. At work, Emily slid a folder onto my desk. What's this? I asked. A cup's the team's struggling with. Visuals. Show them what you've got. I hesitated. You're serious? Dead serious. Don't hide anymore. I stayed late, sketching designs that flowed from my hands like they'd been waiting years. By morning, I placed them in front. Of the team, who made these? My manager asked. I did, I admitted quietly. He flipped through the pages, his eyes widening. These are sharp. We'll use them in the pitch. A rush of pride swelled inside me. Later that night, scrolling through social media, I saw Claire and Ryan posing in front of a rented sports car. Living the dream, the caption read. I zoomed in. Her smile looked forced, his hand gripping her a little too tightly. Emily walked past my cubicle the next day and noticed me smirking at my phone. What's so funny? She asked. Just seeing that perfection isn't always so perfect. Don't waste your energy on them, she said firmly. I look at you, you're glowing these days. I chuckled. Glowing, I'm just sore from squats. No, seriously, you're standing taller. You've got ideas again. Her encouragement lit a spark I hadn't felt in months. One evening, she caught me sketching again. Why do you hide these? She asked. Because every time I drew, Ryan laughed. Said I was childish. Emily leaned closer. And now, I don't care what he thinks. Good, she said softly. That's growth. I breathed deeply, realizing she was right. My days were no longer filled with begging. Claire did notice me, or proving myself to Ryan. They were filled with sweat, paper, ink, and the slow rebuilding of my pride. At the gym, I overheard a trainer call out, "Consistency is key."
The words echoed in my head.
I smiled, wiping sweat from my forehead. At work, Emily whispered, "Don't hold back in the presentation." Whispered back, "I won't." When the pitch ended, applause filled the room. My designs were praised, my ideas respected. Walked out, Emily nudged me. See? Told you. I grinned. You were right. That night, journaling again, I wrote, I'm not defined by betrayal. I'm defined by the choices I make. And today I chose to rise. I've been watching you, Alex, Mark said, leaning against my cubicle wall. His tone wasn't casual, it carried weight. I straightened up, good or bad, watching. He chuckled. Shh. Your numbers are consistent. Your reports are sharp. And clients ask for you by name. That tells me you're ready for more. I blinked, letting his words sink in. Are you saying a promotion? Assistant project manager? It's yours if you want it. My throat tightened. Is. Of course I want it. Good, Mark said, slapping my shoulder. You earned it. Keep this up, and you'll be running projects yourself. As he walked away, I caught Ryan. Watching from across the office, his smile was tight, his eyes cold. He strolled over. Well, look at you, moving up in the world. Just doing my job, Ryan smirked. Sure funny how fast things change. Don't get too comfortable. I forced a calm tone. Noted, but I'll take my chances. That night, Emily texted me first. Congrats. Mark told me about the promotion. You deserve it. I smiled at the screen. Thank you. It feels good to finally be recognized. Her reply came quick. I'm proud of you. Coffee on me tomorrow. I typed back. Deal. For the first time in months, my chest felt light. The next day, Ryan tried to show me up in a meeting. He cut me off mid-sentence, pitching his idea louder, more aggressively. Mark's expression tightened. Ryan, Mark interrupted. Let Alex finish. Ryan froze, forced to sit back. My voice was steady as I continued, and when the meeting ended, several colleagues came to congratulate me on the clarity of my plan. At lunch, Emily nudged me. You handled that perfectly. Honestly, I wanted to snap. But staying calm worked. Better. She grinned. That's growth. Old Alex might have lost his cool. I laughed softly. Old Alex was a mess. New Alex, trying to do better, is doing better, she corrected. The warmth in her voice lingered with me all afternoon. Later. That week, Claire's name lit up my phone. Against my better judgment, I answered. Alex. Her voice was soft, almost trembling. I miss our talks. Kept my tone flat. About what, Claire? About anything? About life? Used to listen like nobody else? I clenched. My jaw. Things have changed. I know, but can't we still be friends? I stared at the wall. Friends don't lie. Friends don't break trust. Whatever we were, that's gone. Silence stretched before she whispered, You sound different. Maybe because I finally realized my worth. I ended the call before she could respond. The next morning, Ryan stormed into the break room, slamming his mug down. Can you believe Mark shot down my proposal? Said it lacked structure? Weird. He's never said that to me before. I stirred my coffee slowly. Maybe because it lacked structure. Rion's glare could have cut steel. You think you're better than me now? I met his eyes. No, I think I'm better than I was. That's enough, he scoffed, storming out. By the end of the month, my paycheck reflected the promotion. I paid off lingering debts, stocked my fridge with more than instant noodles, and even put a little aside for savings. Emily noticed. You're glowing lately? Glowing? I chuckled. Yes, like someone who finally knows his value. She tilted her head. You should be proud. I am, I admitted. But more than that, I'm free. Every step forward reminds me I don't need Claire or Ryan or anyone's approval. Emily's smile was gentle. That's what real strength looks like. I nodded, feeling the truth of her words. That weekend, I treated myself to a decent dinner, not fancy, but miles away from the budget meals I used to settle for. Sitting across from Emily, hearing her laugh, I realized this was what rebuilding looked like. Not overnight victories, but steady, undeniable growth, and the best part? Ryan knew it. Claire felt it. I could finally breathe. Are you seeing this? Emily nudged me at the fundraiser, her wine glass tilted toward Ryan and Claire across the room. I followed her gaze. Ryan's jaw was tight, his voice sharp, enough to cut through the chatter. Claire stood rigid, arms crossed, her cheeks flushed. People tried to act like they weren't listening. But whispers spread fast in a circle like this. I told you not to embarrass me, Ryan hissed, his hand tightening around her wrist. Embarrass you? Claire snapped back. You're the one acting like a jealous child every time someone talks to me. The room hushed, the music suddenly too soft. Looked away, but I couldn't stop the rush of grim satisfaction building in my chest. Emily leaned closer. Guess paradise isn't so perfect after all. I forced a small laugh. Looks like the cracks are showing. Later that night, my phone buzzed. I almost didn't answer when I saw her name. But something inside meat was part curiosity, part something darker, made me swipe the screen. Her voice was broken. I made a mistake. I froze. Claire, I shouldn't have chosen him. I thought I knew what I wanted, but her words tumbled out between sobs. Ryan isn't who I thought he was, yells. He controls. He God. I don't even know who I am anymore. For a second, I just listened to her cry. The sound dragged me back to nights I cried alone, clutching my pillow while she was out. Laughing with him, I remembered staring at the ceiling, begging for the pain to stop, and now she was the one begging. Claire, I said slowly, why are you telling me this? Because you're the only one who really knew me, she whispered. I was wrong. I shouldn't have hurt you. Please, tell me you can forgive me. I closed my eyes. Temptation clawed at me, the old ache rising. But then I pictured her smiling in Ryan's arms while I drowned. The memory was like ice water over my skin. You left me, I said, my voice shaking but steady. You left when I needed you most. I know, she choked. I was selfish. I thought he had everything. But you. Her voice broke again. You became everything without me. The line was quiet except for her sobs. I couldn't find words. Not yet. The next morning, Emily slid into the cafe booth across from me. You look like you didn't sleep. Stirred my coffee, staring at the dark swirl. Claire called me last night. Her brows shot up, and she said she made a mistake, that she chose wrong. Emily sighed, leaning back. Of course, she did. Now that Ryan's showing his true colors, she wants a safety net. It didn't feel like that, I muttered, though doubt gnawed at me. Don't fool yourself, Emily said gently. You cried yourself to sleep while she was. With him, I remember those nights. Do you really want to go back there? Her words pierced through me. I hated that she was right. I don't know what I want, I admitted. Part of me still cares, and part of me wants her to feel exactly what I felt. Emily reached across the table, her hand warm over mine. You don't owe her your healing. You already took back your power. Don't hand it over again. A week later, I saw Ryan again at a gallery event. His eyes burned into me the moment I walked in, my name on the banners, my work filling the walls. You think you're better than me now? He muttered when he cornered me by the champagne table. I met his glare calmly. I don't think it. I know it. His fists clenched, and for a second, I thought he might swing. But people were watching. He forced a smile instead, the kind that looked more like a snarl. Claire hovered nearby, her eyes darting between us. She looked tired, worn down. When our eyes met, she flinched. Congratulations, she whispered when Ryan stepped away. Really did it, I nodded. Without you. Her lips parted like she wanted to say more, but Ryan's hand clamped on her arm, dragging her off. Emily appeared at my side, raising a brow. Still tempted? I exhaled slowly, watching them disappear. Less every day. That night, lying in bed, I thought about everything. About the way Claire once made me feel like I wasn't enough. About the nights Ryan laughed at my dreams while she joined in. About the tears I swallowed alone. Now they were the ones unraveling. I wasn't broken anymore. For the first time, I realized the balance had shifted. I wasn't the one chasing or crying or begging. I was standing tall, and they were crumbling. Under the weight of their own choices, Emily's words echoed in my mind. You don't owe her your healing. I smiled to myself in the dark. No, I whispered. I don't. I had barely set down my keys when the pounding started. Open the door. Please, it's me. Claire's voice cracked through the wood. My chest tightened, but I steadied myself. I wasn't the same man she left begging years ago. I opened the door. What do you want? Her eyes were swollen. Mascara streaked across her cheeks. She looked nothing like the proud woman who once told me I wasn't enough. Please, she whispered, stepping forward. I need to talk. I didn't move. Talk then. She bit her lip. Ryan cheated on me. With some girl he met 2 weeks ago. He left me. Just like that. I don't know what to do. I laughed bitterly. So, now you know how it feels. Her eyes filled. Again, don't do this, please. We belong together. You and me. Always did. Belong, I repeated, the word burning on my tongue. Where was that belonging when I was on my knees begging you not to go? She flinched. I was stupid. Thought Ryan could give me more. Thought you thought his money mattered more than my love. My voice was sharp. And now, that he's tossed you aside, suddenly, I'm worth remembering. Her hands trembled. It wasn't just the money. I was scared. You were struggling. I didn't think you'd make it. Laughed again, louder this time. Didn't make it. I built it. I bled for every inch of the life I have now, without you. I see that, she whispered, and it kills me. I see the man you've become, and I hate myself for walking away. Please, give me a chance to fix it. Fix it. Wait. Burned. Do you know how many nights I begged God to make you come back? How many times I replayed your words? You're not enough, until they carved holes in my chest. You broke me, Claire. Tears streamed down her face.
I know.
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I shook my head. Sorry doesn't erase the years I spent dragging myself out of the hole you threw me in. Her voice cracked. I was wrong. Ryan, he never loved me. He treated me like a trophy. He lied, cheated, and left me broken. I should have stayed. With you, you were the one who cared. Yeah, I said coldly. I cared. I cared so much I nearly destroyed myself for you. And you walked away anyway. Her hands reached for me, trembling. Please, just say there's a chance. Even the smallest chance. I stepped back. No. Because if I said yes, I'd be that same desperate fool you left behind, and I'm not him anymore. She shook her head. You don't mean that. I met her eyes. I do. Look at me, Claire. Do I look like the man who begged you to stay? Her lips trembled. No, you're stronger, colder. Not colder, I corrected. Clearer. I see you for who you are now, and I finally see myself too. Her sobs filled the room. So that's it? After everything we had, after all the years, you can just shut the door? You shut it first, I said quietly. The difference is, I'm not reopening it. She covered her mouth with shaking hands. I still love you. I exhaled slowly, feeling the strangest calm, and that's your burden to carry, not mine. Her knees buckled as she leaned against the wall. Please, please don't do this. I have no one else. I stared at her for a long moment. Once, that sight would have destroyed me. Now, it only reminded me how far I'd come. You had me once, I said softly, and you threw me away. I begged, Claire. Don't forget that I begged for you, and you chose him, she wailed. I was blind, I was selfish, and I was a fool, I cut in, but not anymore. Her eyes widened, as if she hadn't believed I could really say no. So you'll never forgive me. I don't need to forgive you, I said, because I don't need you. That's the difference. Her sobs grew louder. Please, I'll do anything. I'll prove myself. You already did, I said flatly. The day you left me, you proved who you were. And today, I proved who I've become. She reached out again, desperate. Don't end it like this. I turned toward the door. It ended years ago. You just didn't notice. Her cries echoed as I opened it. She staggered after me. Wait, please, just one more chance. I looked back, one last time. Her face was drenched in tears, her body trembling like she might collapse. But all I felt was peace. Goodbye, Claire. I closed the door behind her, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel empty. I felt free. Claire's name flashed on my phone again. For the 5th time this week, I stared at the screen, let it buzz, then turned it face down. Emily noticed. Still her? She asked softly, sipping her coffee. Yeah, I said, forcing a laugh. She doesn't seem to get the hint. Emily leaned forward. What? Do you want to do about it? I exhaled slowly. Nothing. Done. Every call is just a reminder of who I used to be and who I'll never be again. My phone buzzed once more. Emily gave me a knowing smile. Then maybe it's time to block her. I already did. Twice. Somehow she keeps finding a way. I shook my head. But it doesn't matter. She's not part of my story anymore. Hand brushed mine. Good, because your story looks a lot brighter without her. Later that afternoon, I overheard the whispers in the office corridor. Did you hear? Ryan suspended. One coworker muttered. Yeah, arrogant fool pushed his luck too far. Another replied. I almost didn't believe it until my manager confirmed it. Ryan's behavior finally caught up to him, he said. Cutting corners, disrespecting clients, ignoring deadlines. Jar's handling it now. I nodded calmly, but inside, a strange sense of balance settled over me. For so long, Ryan's shadow had loomed large. Now, it was crumbling on its own. That evening, Emily and I sat on a park bench. The city lights glowed softly, the air filled with laughter from children playing nearby. So, she began, how does it feel, Ryan finally facing the consequences? I smirked, like watching a storm pass that I thought would drown me. Turns out I just had to wait for it to burn itself out. Emily chuckled. Storms don't burn out. You know what I mean, I said, grinning. The first time I'm not defined by what he does or what Claire did. I'm defined by what I choose. And what do you choose? She asked, her voice almost a whisper. I hesitated, then turned to face her fully. Growth? Maybe even us. Her eyes softened. It sounds nice. For a while, we just sat there in comfortable silence. The noise of the world fading into the background. Days turned into weeks, and Emily and I grew closer. She had this quiet strength, the kind that didn't need to be loud to be felt.
With
her, I didn't have to prove anything. I could just be. One night she asked, do you ever regret it? I'd cutting Claire off completely. I shook my head firmly. No, regret is for people who don't learn. I've learned enough to last me a lifetime. Emily smiled. Good, because I don't share. We both laughed. But beneath the humor was something real, something we were both beginning to trust. It happened on a gray morning. I was walking down Main Street, coffee in hand. I saw her, Claire. She stood by the bookstore, hair disheveled, makeup smudged, phone clutched like a lifeline. For a moment, she didn't notice me. But when our eyes met, she froze, her lips parted. Mark. I stopped, but only for a second. The years of pain, betrayal, and anger that used to paralyze me were gone. All I felt was peace. She stepped forward hesitantly. Can we talk? I shook my head. There's nothing left to say. Her voice cracked. I made a mistake. I see that now. Please, just one chance. The old me might have caved. The old me might have searched her eyes for sincerity, for hope. But I wasn't him anymore, I smiled faintly. You once told me we were better off as friends. Yeah, I think we're better off as strangers. Her face fell, but I kept walking. Emily was waiting for me at the cafe down the street. You okay? She asked when I sat down. I just saw Claire. Emily's brow furrowed. And nothing, I said simply. She wanted a second chance. I didn't give it. Emily studied me for a long moment, then smiled. You look lighter. I feel lighter, I admitted. Like I finally closed a book I should have stopped reading years ago. We clinked. Our coffee cups together, a silent toast to new beginnings. As the day ended, I walked home under the fading sunset. My phone buzzed again, one last call from Claire. I didn't answer. Didn't need to. Inside my mind, I whispered words she would never hear. She said we were better as friends. Now she wants a second chance I'll never give. And for the first time in a long time, I felt whole.